if you'd like to share strawberries, then by all means grow them in the garden. If you want to keep them for yourself though, I suggest growing them in a pot where these lizards can't reach them, as in he will not be able to climb up to reach a strawberry. All right, so we're going to pop Spooky back and we'll introduce you to yet another critter. He can finish shedding off his skin while he's in that bag, I imagine. So these guys take their scales off one little scale at a time. It takes a little while to drop all those scales, which is a bit different to a snake, because a snake sort of pulls off its skin, kind of like you're taking a sock off inside out. That's how a snake removes its skin. So, push you up. Here we are. All right, yeah, another friend in here. This one. Okay, and again we're shedding. It's that time of year. We're all looking a little bit worse for wear. This one's name is Pikachu. And Pikachu is not a skink. Do you know what she is?
A baby dragon.
Yeah, that's right. So these lizards get their namesake from this little pouch of skin that they have under their throats. And when she feels scared, instead of poking out her tongue, she inflates her face. So she kind of blows it up, like imagine you're blowing up a balloon. She pushes it forward, makes it look like she's got a big spiky beard. But I also think, ironically, the bearded dragon feels like someone who hasn't shaved for a couple of days. So you know anyone who's got a prickly face? That's kind of the feeling that I get. So have a feel of that. Tell me if you feel a spiky beard when you touch that.
Feels like Granddad.
Granddad feels like that?
Oh, that feels weird.
Hey, Munchkin. What do you reckon?
Is he too spiky?
Yeah, this one's a girl. I wasn't sure if Pikachu, the Pokemon, was a boy or a girl. Or maybe I got it wrong.
I think Pikachu's a boy.
Yeah, I think all of the kids have told me that now. Pikachu's a boy. I'm like, oh, oops, sorry. Sorry, guys. But you might have noticed that Pikachu is a bright yellow colour, and that's where she gets her name. And she's a little bit different to the local bearded dragon, which tends to have more greys and black. So she's got this bright colour because she's not local. She's actually from the desert. So if you jump in the car and you drive about 5 hours west, you'll come into the semi-arid zone where you can start to see the central or inland bearded dragon, and that's Pikachu there. So of course she'll blend in much better with that sort of coloured camouflage. Now she is again an insectivorous reptile, but she will eat all kinds of prey, anything that'll fit in her mouth, including spiders, scorpions, centipedes, and then lots of insects too. So she'll eat locusts. They're a significant predator of locusts out in the desert. And these lizards, well, they sit out in the sun and they are bombarded with UV, natural sunlight, radiation. And did you know that reptiles need sunlight for energy? Yeah, these guys do. So they sit in the sun and they do this behaviour. It's called basking, where it's basically like sunbaking. Sunbaking is not very good for us, but it's very, very good for the reptiles because they need that special energy so they can go and find their food. Yes?
Do they get sunburned?
They do not, because their skin is so tough that a reptile will not get a sunburn. Yeah, but we do get sunburns, which is why we need to stay out of the sun and put our hats on and slip, slop, slap, all that good stuff. But no, the reptiles, well, they're safe to stay in the sun, and the more sun they get, the more energy they have, and the more energy they have, the hungrier they are. So we always remember to pack her lunchbox when we go travelling, because she's got a bit of an appetite, this one. And on the menu today, we have delicious grubs. Hey, can you see these? Not for you? I'm sure she'd share if you wanted. See that? So let me tell you, this is like lizard McDonald's. Yeah? She loves these because they're full of fat, just like regular McDonald's. If you ate it all the time, you'd be unhealthy. Same for Pikachu, she gets them as a special treat. So we'll see how she goes. Hopefully she'll poke out her tongue for us and you'll be able to see what colour it is. I'm going to show her that. Oh yes, I think she wants it. Actually, she's faster than I was anticipating. Oh gosh! Okay, should we try one more? Let's give her another one. Okay, we'll go back that way. Ooh, yes, give me that McDonald's. Thank you very much. Alright, will you come around this way? Now, her tongue isn't blue, right? Oh, she's good. Well done. And you can see she was tracking that prey quite well. And that's because she's a visual predator. So she's got very, very sharp eyesight. And these guys can see from quite a distance. So if the grub was clever, it would sit perfectly still. She is attracted to the movement of her food. So these guys, they don't eat dead things normally. They have to see it moving. And that'll stimulate their appetites. They can also see one another from a really, really long distance. So when these guys want to communicate, they can't talk because they don't have a voice. So instead, they have to do lizard sign language. Yeah? So did you want to learn some lizard sign language right now? Can I teach you one? Alright, so what you need to do is it's kind of like waving, but it's really slow and it's in a circle. So you go like that. And you probably do that maybe 2 or 3 times. Yeah? A big slow wave like that. Is she looking? Alright, do you want to know what you just said? You said, Pikachu, I love you, go on a date with me. Is that what you meant to say? She might be a little bit confused. Okay? Oh, she is looking. There we go. So that's how they communicate. While you're taking photos, why don't we do a silly photo? I do this when I'm trying to show off. Alright, so let me grab another one of these grubs because I'm sure she'll appreciate one more grub. Just to show you how enthusiastic she truly is about these things. I'm going to pick her up. I'm going to stick that grub in my mouth. Alright. Can you see it? Alright. Oh, have you seen that Disney movie? It's called Lady and the Tramp. The 2 dogs have this beautiful romantic moment where they're eating a plate of spaghetti together. That's what we're about to experience right now. Okay, do you want this? Catch it? That's great. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Those little grubs, they don't taste so bad actually. They're kind of nutty. Okay? But I can tell why she likes them so much, yeah. Alright, well we're going to let her have a little rest and we'll get her out a little bit later because Pikachu is really good at giving cuddles. So if you would like to hold her, we'll pull her out again. But let's move on. I have a super cute reptile to show you now. Alright, so stay there for a minute. We'll come and see you again in a little bit. I probably need a drink of water. Alright, that's better. Okay, I fancy this is the cutest reptile that we keep at the zoo. So let's get him out. This one. Yeah, what do you think, hey? Pretty cute?
Is red?
This one's name is Stanley. Here he is.
That's a reptile. How is that a reptile?
Hey. Now, we don't see many turtles up in the rainforest. Does anyone know why? There's plenty of water in a rainforest, so why wouldn't you... Why don't you think?
They all got hunted down.
What's that?
Is it why because they all got hunted down?
No, not because they're hunted. They choose not to be up here. Does anyone else want to have a guess?
Hiding.
None. The reason we don't find them up here is because the water It's usually pretty cold in the rainforest, and it's really cold because there's not too much sun that touches it, because there's so many trees, there's this big canopy, so a turtle would be a little bit too cold. Yeah, so it needs a spot where it can warm up, and the turtles, they wouldn't be able to do that lovely basking behaviour that we talked about up here. They wouldn't get enough sunshine. In fact, that's why the skink that you saw earlier is black, because there's not a lot of sun that reaches all the way down to the floor, but a black lizard can go and sit into a little patch of sunlight and warm up really fast. So that's why he's all black and not a different colour. It helps him to warm up. So Stanley is a long neck. Yeah, sometimes we call them snake-necked turtles, and the neck does help him to hunt for his food, so that's why it's especially long. And the long-necked turtles prefer to hunt rather than gather, so he doesn't eat too many vegetables. Yeah, mostly he's just interested in hunting for food. We can touch him in a couple of places. So interestingly, his shell is actually bones. So when you touch his shell, you're touching his skeleton. Yeah? Which is pretty strange, but very cool. So we just need to be gentle because it's alive and it's a part of his body. So we can touch his shell, but also, if you want to touch his little foot. Now, the turtle has this big hard shell to protect him, which means his feet are actually really soft and delicate. He's got soft little delicate skin, and he hasn't got scales there. So this is really hard and smooth, little foot's delicate and soft to touch. So try both, the shell and the foot. Isn't it? Yeah. And if he looks like an old man, he's only 20 years old, but you know how you get pruny skin when you're in the water for a really long time? Yeah. That's why he's kind of covered in wrinkles. Here we go, have a go.
Oh, good boy. Wow.
Do you want to touch his little foot?
Toes.
Touch his toes. Oh, tickle. Yeah, do you want to touch his little foot? There we go, have a feel. Yeah, so turtles have got a pretty unique body. I mean, they're the only vertebrate animal walking around with their bones on the outside.
Except for insects.
But they're not vertebrate.
Do you know what we call the outer shell of an insect?
An exoskeleton.
Well done. Yeah, so turtles have got these protective shells, and let me tell you, they work pretty well. They've been wearing them for 280 million years. They first evolved around the Triassic period, and turtles have been on the planet even before most of the dinosaurs that you would recognise. Yeah, so that tells me that Mother Nature thinks they're perfect. They haven't really had to change this design because it works really, really well. I mean, in some of the ponds up north where the turtles live, there's another reptile that is an old predator with very sharp teeth. What's it called?
A snapping turtle.
No, they don't.
Oh, no. Crocodile! Yeah! So if we got a crocodile coming along, now can you see the crocodile's getting pretty close to Stanley, right? He's getting really close. Oh, I can't bear to look. What's going to happen if he gets really close?
He's gonna get their lungs.
Hold on, what's going on?
He's going to put his head in this.
Did he change his mind?
He didn't want to bite the shell.
He didn't want to bite the shell. He's going to go find some fish. Because it's so hard, he'd probably break all of his teeth. Yeah, so now turtles know, oh, I don't have to be scared of a crocodile anymore. If I see a crocodile, it's just like the buses coming by. And I can go crawl up on top of the bus and then go for a ride. People send me photos of turtles sitting on top of crocodiles all the time. So they're not so worried about them anymore. But of course, if the turtle does get scared, what does it do?
Swim away.
Can swim away. What if it's on the land and it can't swim?
Tuck in its side shell.
Tuck it in, yeah. All of these bits that are soft, his little legs and his neck can tuck in his shell. Because he's a long neck, snake neck turtle, he has to do the sideways tuck. So he sort of goes in his shell that way. but he's pushing against my hand right now because he's like, oh, I didn't see anything scary. Let me out of my room, please. So there he is, right back there again. Okay, fast or slow? What do you reckon? Fast. Fast? All right, let's see. I've got a little bit of our lizard skin there.
Slow.
Think about wearing a really heavy backpack. You know, when I go hiking in the rainforest out here, I usually have a pretty big hiking pack because I've got to carry my food and my tent and my water. I can't run a track when I've got that on my back. I can only go pretty slowly. So it's the same with Stanley. That big heavy shell does protect him, but he's sacrificed a little bit of flexibility and speed to live in it. So he's not going to be winning any running races. However, he spends most of his time in the water, and he can swim fast enough to catch his prey, which, what do you think he likes to eat in the pond?
Fish.
Little fish? And what about a baby frog? What's that called? Tadpoles. Also prawns. And insects. Yeah, he'll eat all of those things. If he gets really lucky, a dead animal will float by and you might be able to pull a bit of that off as well. Yeah.
They eat prawns in freshwater rivers?
Yeah, they do. Prawns and crayfish, little yabbies. Yeah, all those sorts of things can make good tupper for a turtle. Of course, when he eats them, he doesn't chew, and by that he also doesn't bite. And what I mean is, he has no teeth. He's a gummy turtle. He can't bite into his food because they haven't got any teeth. Right? So instead, he has to get pretty close to these little fish, and then he just sucks it up. And when we watch them swallow their food, we can often see them wriggling as they go down the neck. So he's eating his food live sometimes, which is a bit gross. Hey? Can you imagine being a little tiny fish in a pond with a turtle with a long neck? He can reach into those tricky places where his shell can't get to. Yeah, so I think that would be pretty scary actually. And before we say goodbye to him, I do have 2 rude turtle facts to teach you, okay? So, rude turtle fact number 1, when the turtle is walking and he gets a fright, he gets startled, he farts. That happens with my sister as well. Don't tell her I told you. It's one of the funniest things I do on Christmas Day. I'll make sure I hide behind the door around the corner and then I'll jump out and scare her. And she goes, ah! I love it. So he does that. Rude turtle fact number 2. When the turtle is under the water, he can do something amazing. Do you remember this one? He can breathe underwater through his bottom. Yeah. Do you think that one's funny? I can see you smiling there. Yes, he can do that, which is pretty rude, very cool, but pretty rude, definitely. Alright, we're going to let him have a little rest, and I have one more critter, and then we'll do some cuddles. After that, with maybe a couple of animals, I think we'll do. Alright. Wouldn't be much of a reptile show if I didn't have a snake to show you, right? Well, I do. This one, her name is Callista, and she is mostly retired. She's with me today because I am out of animals. It has been a very intense school holiday period, and all the animals are so tuckered. I was like, oh, come on, we've got one more show to do. We'll bring that old girl out of retirement. She can come and do a show for us. I say an old lady because she is at least 30 years old, which is very old for a snake. Callista, if she looks familiar, she's a kind of carpet python, which is the local python, but her colour is not right because she's actually from down south. So she's sort of more inland Victoria, south, even into South Australia, although they're critically endangered in South Australia now. South Australia is not having a very good run for its wildlife. Yeah, so she is called a Murray Darling carpet python. Pythons are constricting snakes. Yeah, instead of having venom, They throw their coils around their victims, squeeze. I call it the hug of death. So they give the hug of death to their prey, and when they eat their food, they swallow it whole. Quite a few of the animals are swallowing their food whole. Turtle's doing that. The snake does that too. So these guys can swallow surprisingly large prey, and they prefer to because they're pretty lazy. They want to have a big meal and then take a really long nap afterwards. So big prey for a carpet python. These guys regularly eating rats, mice, birds, bats, bandicoots, possums, any kind of small mammal. That might include the neighbour's cat, someone's chicken perhaps, or if they get into the guinea pig hutch. They'll make a mess of things. Yeah, keep the guinea pigs safe. Yeah, so these guys have big appetite, but they don't have to eat very often. So a large meal, one that leaves a big round lump in a snake's tummy, will last him over a month or more. Yeah. In fact, Callista here hasn't eaten for about 6 months. And she still has pretty good condition, but she is an old lady, and I'd like her to eat a little bit more often than that. So we're trying to get her enthusiastic about eating, but she's just not having it, you know? Goodness me. So we'll pop her on the ground, and she's not going to go anywhere very quickly because she's slow and old. But they're all pretty slow. Carpet pythons, if they had to chase their food, would go hungry because of the way they are built. And they're very long and skinny. If you think about a snake's body, it's just a long, skinny tube. They have to go everywhere on their bellies. So again, not going to be winning any running races. They need to do the laziest kind of hunting. It's called ambush. Have you heard of it? You have? Yeah?
They hide and then when they play past they jump out.
That's it. Yeah. You can think of it like Uber Eats for a snake. Okay? The snake isn't silly, knows exactly where to go because she has the most amazing tongue. When she flicks it out, it tells her all kinds of information about the world around her, including where to find her food, so she knows if a trail is used regularly by its prey. And she will sit still, camouflage, and wait for it to get too close where she can reach it with a strike. And that's the only time a python like this can move quickly, is in a strike. But even Callista can't do that anymore. She's too old. In the wild, this would probably spell the end for a python like Callista, but in captivity, we don't give her live prey. She has dead prey, so she doesn't even need to strike it. She can just start eating them. That's if she chooses to. Yeah. So if you do see a carpet python on one of the tracks here, no, nothing to worry about. They're not considered dangerous. Certainly you wouldn't touch any snake that you saw, because if you touch them, they might think you're trying to hurt them, and a scared snake will likely bite you. A venomous snake is not good to be bitten by, for obvious reasons, but actually a harmless carpet python you also don't want to be bitten by, because these guys are in the wild eating rats. So they can leave some pretty nasty germs, and I know a snake catcher that lost his finger after being bitten by a carpet python of all creatures. So there you go. Don't want to be bitten by even a carpet python. So when you do see them, make sure you don't touch them. Just say hello. Yeah. Okay, so what we'll do is invite you guys to have a bit of a cuddle with Callista, if you like. And once we've had a go with Callista, I have the dragon too, so we can try with that. So who would like to have a turn with Callista? You would? Okay, do you want to come up? Do you think you can stand in front of this sign over here? Is the light okay?
Yeah, it's good.
Do you want to stand over here, my dear? It's really easy to hold her. All you got to do is have 2 flat hands out the front. Can you do that for me? 2 flat hands, and she just goes around your neck, okay? Ready? So she goes around like that, and then on your 2 flat hands.
You should.
I'm just recording, that's it.
There we go. Oh, well done. I think you're a natural, actually. She just counterbalanced out. Good job. Good job. Excellent work. Do you want to jump on it? Just stand in front of the sign then for me.
As you want me to.
Is she happy? Right.
You're leaving first?
I think you even got a few little kisses there too. Okay. That's nice, isn't it?
That's your own, mate.
That's a mirror. There we go. Ready to come good? You're all good? Alright. Do you want to turn, my dear? Up you come. Right. Do you want to put the phone there so you can have both hands? I need both hands to hold the snake. You don't want to have a turn? Okay, ready? We need to concentrate on what we're doing, not trying to take selfies. There we go. I'm gonna just pop your thumb this way. There we go. Alright, well done. And do you want to have a turn too? Not for you? Okay. Alright, and good kids. You gonna have a go? Yep.
I felt like my hand was moving.
I bet
It's
she's
just a
waiting for
snake.
It's cool, hey?
You know that she can't sweat.
Lovely girl, good job. That's it, and you're doing it just perfect. You can sort of feel how she moves through your fingers.
Yeah, it's almost like what's it called? Like the climb the tree and eat the leaves. Sure, it's called.
Climb the tree, eats the leaves?
No, it's like a little one.